Well. Good morning there, Treasure Hardies. It's been a hot minute since I've done a last live. Wow, it's over a month ago. Seems like forever. And there's a lot of stuff that I need to get you all caught up with because a lot's been happening in life and in the quilting world in general. But yeah, we are here this morning and it's very cold here in southern Nevada. So it's a good day to just sit sit behind the sewing machine and just sew some crumbs. I didn't want to do anything complicating because, well, it's been a hot minute also since I've been behind this machine. I have, let's just say life's been kind of crazy. So, yeah, let's get caught up. But before we do that, let's say hello to some people. Let's check in and see who is here. Miss Molly Fisher. Hello, Molly. And hello, Miss Irish Sail Lady. She says, good afternoon, Eric. It's been a minute, but my life has been busy and trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm fine, but hubby and dog are recovering from surgery as well. Yeah, fingers crossed that it's a good recovery and a quick recovery. But nice to have you here. We got Miss Donna Hoskins saying, hey, Donna. Pearl Medina from Moreno Valley, California. Hello, Pearl. We got Jackie saying good morning, Jackie. Hello, Miss Kim. She's saying hello to everybody. And June Hansen is here. Hi, June. Suzanne Taylor is saying hello. Hi, Suzanne. Oh, sorry. A little tickle in my throat there. Linda Fugate. Hello, Linda. It's hi all. It's beautiful but really windy day here in North Las Vegas. Hanging on to the hummingbirds. Okay, Linda. Hey, you're in my neighborhood, or I'm in your neighborhood. We're neighbors. Okay. Let's see. Denise is checking in. Hello, Denise. Good afternoon to you too. That quote behind you is gorgeous. Well, thank you, Kim. um, yeah, this quilt was actually one of the very first scrap quilts that I ever put together. It was basically a bunch of strings that I was sewing together and just made half square triangles out of them. The green fabric, though, I am so done with it because I overestimated how much I needed. And yeah, I think I still got bits and pieces of it. Well, it still shows up in my little crumb bin there. But I am so done with this green fabric that, yeah, I just want to use it all up. But I'll bet you there's a scrap or two somewhere. And every time I see it, I'm like, Urgh. But it's a pretty green color that it kind of blended well with all of this mixture. But yeah. Actually, I put this quilt up because this is next in the queue of projects that I need to get quilted. So I was just put it up on the wall. And then, well, this is my process whenever I want to figure out how I want to quilt it. I just put it up on the wall and then let the quilt speak to me in terms of how it wants to be quilted. And I think on this one, I'm just going to do some walking foot quilting with it and then just do a giant spiral. The quilt is actually not that big, so I can probably manage it on a domestic machine instead of putting it on the long arm. The only thing I'm really not looking forward to is now I do have to baste it. So I might be looking at spray basting because I am not pinning this one. Or I'm not putting this on the floor and getting on my hands and knees and pinning it. No, we do not do that anymore because we are not 18. Well, we think we are 18, but we're really 3 times that age. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Good morning, Miss Carissa. How are you? Glad to see you here this morning. We got Joyce Hernandez. Hello, Joyce. Okay, so I kind of figured it's been a hot minute since I've done a live, and whoops. And honestly, I forgot how to control all of this equipment. Oh, there we go. Um, so I figured just let's spend some time just chatting away, getting each other caught up with what's been going on. Because as you guys saw, or you probably heard by now, yeah, February was just a busy month. So let's chat about what happened in February, um, and what's going to happen in March, and then what's been going on with all of you. So, Suzanne Taylor says, I use 505 spray and it holds great. Okay. I have used 505 spray as well. My only complaint about it is the spray just gets, like, if I don't, well, I can't do it outside because it is very, very windy, as Linda said. But the spray just kind of gets everywhere. So I do have to find some spot where I can actually, outside, where I can actually spray it. But it does hold up really well. And um, yeah, I find that it's a good spray to use. You just have to use a lot of it. So today I'm just sewing crumbs, um, in which I am sewing these for a purpose because I do have a project in mind to use up all of these things. And I kind of did the math and I don't have enough blocks. I thought I did, but I need a stack more. So, and you can never have too many crumb blocks. I mean, there's always a project that I can think of on how to use it. So I figure, let's just sew some crumbs instead of trying to think of something. Well, quite honestly, what I really wanted to do today was just show some of the pictures that I took from QuiltCon, but my computer is not well, my other computer was not cooperating today. So I figured, let's just relax, not stress out about it, and let's just sew some crumbs. So it's been a while since I've done this. And as I said, I didn't get many opportunities to actually come and sit behind the sewing machine because it is tax time. And so work's been a little crazy, life's been a little crazy, and I've been traveling a lot too. In fact, this is the first weekend where I actually get to spend at home because 2 weeks ago was QuiltCon. So took a day trip out to Phoenix. And last weekend, I had some personal business to tend to in Los Angeles. A very close friend of mine, passed away, and her funeral was last weekend. So that was a day trip, another day trip. And I did manage to do some hiking, which, for those of you who don't know, I do like to do that from time to time and visit some of the national parks. Of course, if you know the area, yes, I did visit Death Valley again. So, yeah, let's see. Um, hello for those of you guys coming in. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But yeah, so QuiltCon. What are my thoughts about it? What are my what are my impressions on it? I think QuiltCon, what I kind of finally realized, you would think that I would know this by now, but this is the third time that I've actually attended QuiltCon show. First time was back in before the pandemic, which was 2017. It was in Pasadena, California, and that was my first time ever attending QuiltCon. Now I've been to quilt shows before, um, and my first impression was I didn't at that time I didn't understand the modern quilt movement, I guess, or I didn't really understand what modern quilts really were. Second time I went, it was during the pandemic, or we were just coming out of the pandemic, and it was in Phoenix. That was when Tiffany and I went to attend the show. Wasn't very well attended again because of the pandemic. Um, and then this year, this being my third one, let me tell you, there was a lot more people that were there compared to back in 20, gosh, when was that? 2020, 2021. Um, and I kind of realized that QuiltCon is not like any other quilt show simply because of the type of quilters that attend. Um, it's not that I don't really consider myself a modern quilter, but I did enjoy this particular show a lot more because of, well, not because of the quilts, but because of the company that was there. A lot of YouTubers that I know of, Tiffany, Selbecca, Ian, um, Dave from Dave Sewing and Craft Room, if you know him, he was there. Amy Dement was there. We also, Misty and Natalie from Missouri Star Quote Company was there. We ran into them, just said hello. And of course, we took a picture with Misty. Who else was there? Di of Sister Chicks Quilting, the Sewing Channel, Tracy, of course, um, she was there. You know, a lot of YouTubers, YouTube personalities were there. Mac of MA Couture, she was also there. And so just being around like content creators, and just kind of sharing experiences was kind of it was enjoyable. I will say that. And the ongoings of, or what people, the type of people that go to QuiltCon. I mean, you had people dressed up in wacky outfits. Um, a younger a younger crowd, I guess, is what I would say. So it's yeah, to me, the quilts are one thing, but the people who attend that show, it's a totally different experience from other quilt shows. Like, for example, I've been to Houston, and Houston attracts more of a traditional quilter. I do see, I mean, they do hang or they do exhibit modern quilts, but the mostly what I do see at Houston is kind of more of the art quilt or traditional quilts. And so I enjoy Houston just for the sheer fact of looking at the quilts. But I was taking mental notes and walking through the quilt con, and I was just kind of looking around, and I just finally realized that quilt con just really attracts a different type of quilter. Is one show better than the other? It just depends on what you're looking for. So I was just more or less attending QuiltCon just because of the fear of missing out. But yeah, will I go again? I'll definitely go again sometime in the future. Yes, um, primarily because of just seeing friends that I know. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So, what do you guys think? Have you guys were some of you at the show? um, and what did you guys think of the show, or have you attended QuiltCon before? And would you agree or disagree with me? Sorry for your loss, Eric. Well, thank you, June. Um, yeah, she was very special to me because, well, when I first moved to Los Angeles, She was also born and raised in Hawaii, and she actually knew my father, so there was a family connection there. But she kind of took care of me. We worked together in the accounting department, and being in a strange city, not knowing anybody, she kind of was like a second mother for me there. So yeah, it was sad to see her go, but we're happy that she's no longer suffering, and we're happy that it happened rather quickly, so that it wasn't like months and years of chemotherapy and doctor visits and whatnot. So yeah. Let's see. Hello, Becky. Okay. Kim Burr says, I've never attended QuiltCon, but would love to be able to. It looks like it would be a great experience. It is, Kim. Just for the sheer being around other quilters, it's a good experience too. I mean, you have a lot of fun just meeting people and connecting with people with like similar interests. Um, okay, so I don't know if she is here listening, but there was a fellow Treasure Hardy that flew in. Well, she she was already in the States visiting her sister, but she's originally from France. And if you know, or if you've joined us on Zoom, you know who I'm talking about. She flew from France to Texas, I think, and was visiting her sister. And she also took a day trip out to Phoenix just to attend QuiltCon. And we spent a lot of a lot of the time together. Um, she's the other woman that you see in the pictures. Let's just put it that way. So, what is everybody working on this morning? I know I'm just sowing crumbs here and I'm kind of rambling on and on and on, and I know there's a lot of activity going on YouTube this morning. So I'm glad that you guys are here joining me. Because I realized that Matthew, Mr. Domestic, or no, Mixed Domestic, or whatever he's called, I don't know what his channel is now, but I know he's on live at the same time I am. So I'll catch the replay on his channel. And then earlier this morning, I was actually watching Sean, the guy who sews, or no, yeah, wait, the guy who sews. Oh boy, I got to get these names straight. I was just watching him on his live. He had some John from Guy's Craft 2, I believe is his channel. Just watching the two of them early this morning. I think it was like at 5 that he starts. Well, 5 o'clock my time. So yeah, I've been up since then. Okay. Let's see. So after QuiltCon, again, last week, traveling back to LA, and then where am I tomorrow? Am I in Utah? I think so. Yeah. So I've been busy. It's a busy time of the year for me, but you know what? As long as I have the air in my lungs and I'm not 6 feet under, I'm happy. Right? Just appreciate what we got. So, hey, Math Geek. Hello, hello. Just dropping in for a minute before I head out for the day. Well, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you here. It was fun to meet you and Nadine at QuiltCon this year. Okay. Yes. I did meet a few other few other quilters, Math Geek being one of them. Let's see, who else did I meet? Oh, I was kind of fangirly. Yeah, I was like really excited to see her. Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts. Um, if you saw the little tidbit that I did for the March edition of the video newsletter, you saw that we kind of met up, and while she was doing her white glove duties, I just asked her, Karen, would you mind taking a picture? Well, I was intending on taking a picture. I actually had my phone on video mode, so we just took a video. But the part I didn't put in that video was the fact that after I walked, we said goodbyes. I was kind of like, oh my God, I met Karen Brown. Oh my God, kind of starstruck about it. Yeah. But she's really a nice person. Very courteous. She doesn't consider herself to be a celebrity, but she really is. With the amount of followers that she has, my goodness. Okay. Am I making any progress? I seem to be just pressing my seams the whole time. Let's see. What else have I been up to? I finally got a video out that has been taking me forever to get done, which was the friction pen video, the follow-up to the friction pen video, in which I washed out the fabric and tested out some laundry detergent. Got a mixed bag of reviews, or a mixed bag of results, I should say, with that, because sometimes some of it came out, some of it didn't. And it was quite surprising to see that. So if you haven't checked out that video, it's up on the YouTube channel. Was posted earlier this week. And a lot of people have been commenting that they got the same results. So I guess I'm not the only one. And then one person she intended, or she was just intending on sharing what she knows of it, but she specifically said, don't need to test it, so I'm not. Hi, Crystal. Hello, Sylvia. Okay. Let's see. I also did mention in the video newsletter that I am planning on attending a local quilt show here in Southern Nevada, Las Vegas, basically, that I found out about through a newsletter on a guild email. It's Quilt Las Vegas. I think that's what they call it. So just want to check out what the local quilt shop or local quilt scene is here, and then just kind of meet some new people. So if you're there, say hey. Ooh, okay. Kind of pressed the seam the wrong way. Okay, let's sew some of these pieces together, because then I can make a bigger piece out of it. Okay, so I'll put this one with, I think this is big enough for me to sew. I'll put this one with this one. Oh, that's okay, Crystal. I haven't been on for a while either, so she says, "I'm sorry, I haven't caught a live video in a while." Well, life's been busy. I understand. So, ooh, and my glasses are smudged. No wonder I can't see. Okay. Yep, much better. Hi, Susan. Good morning to you too. The Confident Quilter. Hello, Gladys. Nice to see you here. Okay, let's see if this works because it's been a hot minute since I've done this. Okay, and hot. Whoops. Did I spell it right? I hope I did. Okay. It worked. Okay. So here's a question that was posed to me by a fellow Treasure Hardy. Thank you, Linda, for sending in that question because it was very interesting of what she asked. Her question is, how do you deal with batting scraps? And do you make Franken batting? Do you do it immediately after you finish a quilt, or do you store it until you have another project in mind? Which I thought was a very good question. For me personally, I don't think I've ever made Franken batting. Now, if you don't know what Franken batting is, it's basically when you take scraps of batting from leftover projects after you finish quilting it and binding it. You know, you might have scraps of batting left over, and people have been sharing techniques of how to actually put those batting scraps together, and you can use it to on another quilt. Instead of buying another roll of batting, you can just take those scraps and sew them together and use it on another quilt. So they call it, I don't know who coined this term, but it's called Franken batting because you got bits and pieces of batting scraps sewn together. Ow, just hit my knee. Now, personally, I've never done it. I know I know the technique, I know the method of it, but for me, whenever I have scrap batting pieces, if it's a large piece, I just keep it as one large piece. And if it's big enough for me to make a table runner, I'll just save it. And when I have a table runner project, I'll just use it as is. I've never sewn, or I've never made Franken batting. I guess with the way prices are going with crafting supplies and sewing and fabric, it might come to that where we need batting and we don't have the funds to buy batting. It just very well might come to the situation where I have to kind of sew those batting scraps together. But most of the time I'm not sewing, or I'll probably just store it as it is. And then when the project or when the time comes to use up the batting, that's when I'll decide if I want to make a Franken batting or if I just want to keep, or if, if the batting scrap is big enough for the project that I need it for. Whoops. Forgot I had these pieces on there. Susan You're Out says she was wishing she's still in Arizona as snow is in the forecast for her. Wow. There is actually snow here in Las Vegas. Of course, it's snow-capped mountains, but there's snow, and looks beautiful. Okay, so Joyce says that she stores it. Susan You're Out says that she stores it. Kimber says, I store it, then Franken piece when I need it, usually for a small quilt or table runner. Carissa says, I have a giant roll of batting. It's 120 wide by 30 or 35 yards. Wow. That is a giant roll of batting. um, Actually, I have a giant roll of batting too that I got on sale. I think it was like $89 for Joann's. Okay. Okay, let's see what this piece has. I'll just trim that off there. And then I will finger press this one open. Kimber says, I tend to keep smaller pieces together, 80-20 together, low loft, etc. That way they don't have mixed thickness. Yeah. The other thing I'll do with batting is if it's too small for me to even put it or piece it together with other pieces of batting, I'll just cut it up into smaller squares, like 1-inch squares or so, and just use it as stuffing for a project or a pillow. Okay, there's that. Let's sew that together. I want to put that to the side. And let's see this. I can cut this. Throw that away, and then I got a different piece here. Donna Hoskins says, I have to save all the pieces. Retirement home project eats it up. And yes, I bought a huge roll. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm the type of person that I will use it to the last thread. Obviously, because look at how small these crumb pieces are. In which, this is, I mean, to me, it just seems wasteful if we don't use even the smallest bits of pieces. I mean, of course, at some point you're gonna just have to say, okay, toss it in the trash. But even my trash, um, I don't actually throw it away. I will collect it and find some kind of a use for it. Most of the time, it just ends up in a pillow of some sort. So batting, to me, I would probably handle it the same way. You know what? This is a better piece. No. Well, I'll do this. I mean, make the most out of what you got, right? Okay. Cut these pieces off. I'll trim that off. Susan You're Out says, my sister had a giant roll like yours, talking to Carissa, that she bought years ago at Hancock's Fabrics when she worked there. Wow. Irish Sail Lady says, I use the smaller pieces for zipper bags and for zipper pouches and bags and things. I store the larger for later quilts. Okay, so something like that would be something very similar to what I would do. Let's see. Kimber says, I have two king size batting, but want to order a big roll from Marshall Dry Goods. They seem to they seem to be the cheapest. Oops. Okay, camera is sorry about that. Hello, Lori. Lori Clark is checking in. Darn those chores. Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? Otherwise, it just never gets done. Whoops. Let's. Susan You're Out says, I've also used small rectangles of batting on my Swiffer to dust mop my kitchen floor. Oh, there's a creative use of batting scraps. And I am dropping pieces all over the floor. So let me put these there for a second. I've done that with towels, where you kind of wrap a towel or soak it in some kind of cleaning solution, and then you can wrap it around like a Swiffer mop. Because even those Swiffer duster things, oh my gosh, they're kind of pricey. So if I can use a towel and just put it in the wash and reuse it, keep reusing it, hey, I'm going to go that route instead. Carissa says, I lived at Hancock's. It was 3 blocks away from our house. Boyfriend got it for me for Valentine's Day 2 years ago. Yeah. If he's buying you crafting supplies and fabric, that's a good man there. Hi, Joey T. Hello, Miss Remo. How are you? It's been a while. Hope everything is good with Dad, and hope everything is good with you too. That your family's not driving you crazy. Um, do 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 do. Okay. Well, I did have a chat with Mom. Of course, I had to let her know about my the coworker passing away, so she was sad to hear about that. But Mom's doing okay. She is happy. Well, this coming June, is it June? Yeah, June. I am trying to plan a trip to visit Mom and go back home, partially because it's my dad's 10-year anniversary since his passing. And in Asian culture, that's kind of a big milestone. So, um, Mom was happy to hear that I'm trying to make it back home. That is, if I can get off of work and if everything lines up. I know she's probably praying to have everything line up because it's been 3 years since I've actually been back home. And so, yeah, I haven't actually seen my mother in 3 years. And yeah, I was just asking her how she's doing. She's doing okay. She well, she keeps complaining to me that we took away her driving privileges because it's not safe for her to be driving. Let's just put it that way. But she still gets around. She still does her own errands. Of course, my brothers help her out, and she's still active. She gets around town. Well, I shouldn't put it that way. She she she's still mobile. She can still walk around. She does her own errands. She does her own grocery shopping. Don't ask me what in the world she's buying. Because the last time I was home, I had to clean out the pantry and there was a lot of expired stuff. So, but she seems happy with things. Of course, my brothers check in on her from time to time, but she still has that sense of wanting her independence. So, you know, we worry about I worry about it, but sounds like she's okay for now. But sooner or later, we're gonna have to give some consideration that she can't be on by herself because of safety concerns. So, and she knows that, but she just wants to have her independence for as long as she can. So, Remo J says, Dad broke a hip while walking into a hospital for an appointment. He has had to have partial hip replacement surgery. Oh no! Oh, sorry to hear that, Remo. Um, Eric, how's your mom doing? Well, I just gave you the update. Okay, right now, not hurting for batting. Have almost 2 full rolls from Joann's, as well as a couple of full size packages of bamboo batting and a full size package of wool batting, plus a bag of bigger cutoffs. Okay, so you're pretty much set, Susan. Yes, yes. Let's send prayers for Remo's dad for a quick recovery. Thank you. It's a long haul, but I'm doing it, brother. And Aunt came to help me out. Well, finally, Remo. Okay. So if you have a burning question, and Linda, again, thank you for the question about the batting. But if you have a question that you want to pose to your fellow treasure hearties, just send me an email like Linda did. And she just asked a question. Hey, maybe this will be a good question for um, a live session. So you can send it at treasureheartcreations@gmail.com. Okay. Before I forget, I should mention that today is also the live or the Zoom session for the month of March. So for those of you that are planning on participating, don't forget about that. That'll start at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, so a few hours after this live. And I gotta say, I've been having fun just listening to everybody's chatter. We talk about just about anything and everything, so whatever happens on Zoom stays on Zoom. But we have fun on there. It's an interesting group. I'll just say that. Okay. Yeah. And maybe on the Zoom call, I can share some more pictures of quotes from QuoteCon. Well, that is if this computer is going to cooperate with me and not work against me like it was this morning. My gosh, these seams are not lying flat. Come on. I think it's time for this iron to be retired. Because the temperature's down. That's why. Not hot enough. Okay. Remo says, I went to Joann Fabrics, only bought a thread 40% off. Talked to our person up the chains, so stay tuned. Right now, they are unloading warehouse that is full of merchandise. Closing final date is May 31st. Wow. But I don't believe it's all the stores that are shutting down. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think it says only or certain locations are going to stay open. Well, at least that's what I've heard. Donna Hoskins says, been taking care of my mom here. She has a fractured L2 vertebrae. Oh, and has to have surgery. She's been in some serious pain. Oh my gosh. Okay, so oh yeah, that is painful. Sending prayers out to your mom, Donna, and to you as well, because you got to deal with that. Okay, I think this one is big enough. Let me see. Not quite. So that's where this piece can come in, which I can sew it on. Let's see. Yeah, I can sew it on this way. Mary says she probably won't be on Zoom. She's got a bad migraine. Oh gosh. Well, I hope she's okay. She's been fighting that for over a week. Oh boy. I hope it's not a sign of something more serious. Oh, Susan says that now all the Joanns are shutting down. Okay. Well, I guess I shall be visiting Joann sometime soon to see what kind of deals I can scrounge up. But is it me, or do you guys notice that even when Joann's was fully operational, they had a lot of, what do you call it, novelty fabric and novelty fleece, and that's basically all that they carried. I mean, I didn't notice any like real. I mean, they had some fabric for quilting, but I mean, they had tons and tons of novelty fleece. All the football teams, the basketball teams, in which I kind of got sick of looking at all of that, which is why I kind of stopped going there for a while. Thanks, Eric. She's 89 and quite a handful. Okay. And Donna, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Even though I'm miles and miles away from my mom, every time I talk to her, there's always some drama that she has to tell me about. Of course, she makes me laugh, telling me. So, yeah, if I ever shared the paperclip story, you know why, or you know how she is. That one's ready to trim up, and this one also, this I can flatten this out, but then I need to trim this little sliver behind here. Bye, Judy. Thanks for stopping by. Um, they're closing all the stores in Hudson, Ohio. It's not far from here. At first, top selling stores, about 300, weren't closing, but now changed. Well, why keep hiring new people and managers if they're closing? Well, that's a good question, Remo. What? Yeah, that's kind of a dumb thought. Why would you hire more people if you know this, if you know the store or that you'll be closing the store? That does sound silly, but maybe. Well, interestingly, when a store goes or starts shutting down, it starts to get busy. So maybe they're expecting an influx of all of us trying to get a good deal, which is partially true. Hey, I just said I was going to go to Joann's just to find whatever deals I can get. So, yeah. Um, we have big stores here. That's Carissa. And Remo says, I got a new Viking Sapphire 930 real cheap, brand new in the box. Viking galleries are trying to find a new home. Okay. Sounds like somebody went bargain shopping already. The one, see, Susan Year Out says, the one at the store I always shopped had a very good selection of keepsake cottons. Yeah, the one that I used to go to when I was living in Los Angeles, I mean, it was one of those big anchor stores. Well, I don't know, anchor stores or one of those bigger locations where it had everything: framing department, crafting department, everything you can imagine. Um, but the fabric selection, I mean, it was a larger selection, but again, they just had a ton of fleece and novelty fabrics that, well, that's all I that's all I remember from them, quite honestly. Maybe because at that time LA didn't have a professional sports team. So, well, no, that's not right. They had the Lakers, they had basketball, but they didn't have football. So I saw a lot of Kansas City Chiefs um, printed fabric, Seahawks, Jets. Then the Chargers came into town and everything switched. Okay, this is the one that's big enough so I can trim this one down later. I'll just press that. Let's see. I kind of feel like I'm not really making progress on this, but that's okay. I'm just enjoying myself. Hope you guys are too. Let's see. Is there a better piece that will fit this? Here's a longer piece, but it has some repeat fabrics, but I'm not gonna, oh, how about this? Yeah, let's go with this. Good enough. You know what? Let me turn it around. Finger press the seam open, and I will sew it on exactly like this. Kim Burr says, I need to go and see about some full-size batting for a couple of quilts I need to get done. Well, now's the time to go, Kim. Actually, I don't even know where the Joann's is here in Las Vegas. I guess now would be a good time to find out. Susan You're Out says, I will admit I was disappointed at the Joann's where her daughter lives. It's small and no real selection. Yeah, some of the smaller ones, it's like, why did they even open that store? Because there's not much going on there. So, yeah. When I used to live in a certain neighborhood that they call the Valley in Los Angeles, and there was a neighborhood Joann store. Went in there once, never really went back because not much was in there. And it kind of made me question, well, why did they even keep the store open? Just sewing crumbs together. Very therapeutic, which is what I needed today. Remo J says they don't have any deals, really 20% off on fabrics, no less than a yard. Sales were better when they weren't going out of business. Lines at 2 to 3 hours long. It's crazy. Wow, that is crazy. Let's see. Linda Fugate says, Eric, the Joann's and Hobby Lobby and Soya in Vegas are really close to each other. Really? Every time I go to Soya, I've never seen the Joann's. I know they exist. I have seen a few Hobby Lobbies, but not in areas that I'm interested in visiting. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. There is a Hobby Lobby next to a Costco that I did see. But yeah, I need to stop going to Soya and explore some of these other crafting stores. I've been to Michael's. I've seen a lot of Michael's stores around. Let's press this one too. And the seam got closed again. Okay, press this one in. You know what I need to do is I need to do something where we discover which is the best iron. Because this iron is, I mean, it was expensive, but I don't know. I don't know if it was worth the price of me paying for it. I kind of just fell for the trend though, because I saw a lot of other people using similar irons. And so I thought maybe it's a good iron. So I just bought it and invested the money in it. But now I'm kind of thinking, the $20 Black & Decker probably would have been better. And as I'm thinking out loud, hey, that's my next video topic, right? Yeah. Because people get tired of standing in line, walking out without buying. The deals aren't great yet. Current employees fed up and quitting. Well, that's a sad situation, I guess, then. Okay. And Remo says we have 3 superstores, Joanne's. That was awesome. They also have limits on what you can buy, worrying about be the place on eBay and Etsy. Oh, okay. Oh, 2160 North Rainbow. Okay, I need to write that down. 2160 North Rainbow. 2160 North Rainbow. Thank you for that, Linda. Why is it that I can never find stuff when I need it? Okay, I'll just write it on this. 2160 North Rainbow. Maybe I'll check them out later after today's Zoom. Let's see. Hang on a second. Sorry, I had to cough. Didn't want to damage your guys' eardrums. Okay. I only keep pieces big enough for table runners, or sometimes we'll keep 12-inch squares for smaller projects. Okay, that was Jackie. I'm assuming she's talking about batting. 12-inch squares. I never thought of cutting the batting into square shapes for... Maybe I should actually start doing that. The Michaels near me, you can rent time on their long arm. Really? Michaels has a long arm? I've never seen that. That's interesting. I know they're trying to expand their sewing collections, and I know they started selling fat quarters and rotary blades and whatnot. I've never seen sewing machine. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've never seen a long arm at a Michaels. Although it would be a smart move for Michaels to do that, knowing that their competition is going out of business. Actually, I can sew these two together, so let's do that. Although it's... Yeah, I don't like it. Whenever I'm sewing crumbs, I don't like it when it looks too log cabiny or when I got too many strips sewn together. But so like on something like this piece, yeah, it's just a bunch of rectangles being sewn together. So a lot of times I will just throw in, if I can get like a half square triangle on there, just to mix it up a little bit. They're on South Rainbow. Okay. I'll have to check them out. Hello, Marla. June Hansen says, I didn't know my Viking store had closed. So yes, we now do need to. Okay, Kimber says, my Rowenta iron stopped steaming. I paid almost $60 for it. Only lasted 5 years. Went to Walmart and bought a Black & Decker for $11 and it works great. Isn't that funny, Kim? Well, I will say that this particular Rowenta that I have here, I'm embarrassed to say I spent over $200 on it. And I mean, it works fine. It doesn't press the seams as flat as I would like them to, but I kind of got caught up in the hype of behind this iron because I saw that Donna Jordan was using it, so it must be a good iron. I saw that Fat Quarter Shop was using it. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to go back on. There we are. So Fat Quarter Shop also used it. They said they loved it. So I figure it must be a good iron. It must be worth the investment. So I bought it, took a bite, and just bought the iron. And was it worth the money? I don't think so. Which kind of makes me hesitant about spending $2,000 on a Laura Star iron. Now, that I don't think I could ever take the bite out of that price tag. No. Marla says, my Rowenta iron scorched my fabric yesterday. Same setting I always used. It is getting too hot. In the trash it went. They are known for catching fire. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's an interesting problem to have if your iron is too hot. Most of the time I find that the iron is not hot enough. So, Sorry, if you're wondering why I'm staring at the camera, I do have what they call a teleprompter where I can actually, I'm kind of reading the chat. And so it just looks like I'm staring at the camera. So I'm not crazy. June Hansen says, not in my area. Now there isn't any stores in my small world. Aww. So then, June, where do you get your supplies from? Judy Hebert says, I can't take the bite for a Laura Star. My next iron will be a gravity fed Conso iron or something similar. Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's nice to have a good iron. I mean, that is a nice iron. It's a whole system with the ironing board and everything, but I just cannot swallow or fathom that huge of a price tag. I mean, you could buy a whole new sewing machine for that price. Heck, you probably could buy or put a down payment on a long arm for that price. Okay, let's see, what time is it? Okay, so we'll do a little bit more and then we'll call it a wrap. Which I don't feel like I made much of a dent in this scrap pile, but you know what? That's okay. I'll just sew on a couple more pieces. I can't get that seam open, so we'll do this one. Just trying to finger press that open, and I can attach it to this here. Okay, so this, I'm going to break it up somehow because this is just getting to be too many stripes sewn together. So what will I do here? I will put a No, let's attach this on here somehow. Maybe I'll put it on like that. Although it doesn't make sense, but it's not supposed to make sense anyway. So, but before I do that, let's give this a good press because I have a feeling one of these seams is going to flip itself back. Ooh, that steam actually felt really good in this cold weather. Okay, Joyce says, time to do chores. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by, Joyce. What was I going to do? I was going to do this to it. Probably end up trimming some of this, a lot of this off, but that's okay. And I'll finger press that open. And let's join these two together and make one big block. Denise is asking, do you ever think the cost of a house would be $500,000 and a tract house at that, and the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour? Well, believe it or not, it doesn't surprise me because remember that I grew up in Hawaii, and Hawaii is one of the more expensive places to live. And so it's not uncommon for housing in Hawaii to go way above the $1 million mark. Case in point, I did work on a client's books or did a tax return for someone, and the house that they lived in was appraised for 1.25 million. But the neighborhood that they lived in, I mean, the house was in shambles. It was basically kind of sitting on stilts. It was like a rickety old shack. But the area that they lived in was so desirable and so heavily densely populated that it was a popular area, and they could appraise the house for that much. And they were not the wealthiest family. They bought that house years ago, back in the 60s and the 70s. So that can tell you the age of the house. But, they made out on their investment because, again, the house was appraised for 1.25 million. And from the looks of it, it didn't look like that, but it was the area that they were in that made it valuable. So it doesn't really surprise me, quite honestly. But it's sad to see, especially like I know in certain cities, there's a problem with real estate taxes in which they're kind of being overinflated on some of the properties because of the neighbors or the area that it's in. I mean, if you look at the house or if you look at the homes themselves, they don't look very spectacular, but because of the sheer fact that maybe they have, neighbors that renovated their home and got it appraised at a much higher price. Unfortunately, some of these people can't pay the property tax on it, on their homes, and so they're kind of getting priced out in that respect. Okay. I can press this one open. All right. Ooh, that felt good. Ooh, that felt good. Whoa, a little too much steam there. Okay. All right, guys. So it's been over an hour, approaching an hour and a half. So I am going to call this a live session. Want to say thank you guys for joining me here this morning. Just chatting and just listening to me ramble on and on and on and on. Ending in the last minute questions. In which I don't see anything. Oh, hey there, Jim. Didn't know that you were here. So, okay. So, what's coming up? Again, for those of you that are planning on this, we do have the Zoom call coming up in a couple of hours today, starting at noon Pacific Standard Time. So, if like I know some of you on here also joined the Zoom, so we'll see you in a bit. And next Saturday, I am planning on coming or doing another live session. And on that session, the project will be, I was planning on starting to put together the Farmer's Wife quilt. Now we got all the blocks that I needed, so I can start putting the quilt top together. And so I'll be doing that next week. And then the following week, the following Saturday, which will be, I think, the 21st, I will not be on live, but I will be at the Las Vegas, Quilt Las Vegas show. Yeah, I think it's something like that. Anyway, so, but following that, I may have another live session for you because there is 5 Saturdays in the month of March. Okay. When is your next video? I do plan on having another video sometime next week or this coming week. Fingers crossed that I can get it done. It will be part of the scraps and string series that I've been doing, because I didn't do one for February since it was too busy. So now I need to make one up. So be on the lookout for that. Again, if you haven't caught the friction pen follow-up video, that is posted onto the YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And then I also have a few other projects that I'm kind of working on, so stay tuned more on that. And hopefully I can talk about I will talk about those on the next video newsletter. So some stuff to look forward to. Okay. Yes, it was nice to see all of you virtually. So thank you guys for joining me here today. Zoom chat coming up in a few hours. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you guys for joining me again this morning. Whoop, whoop, love watching and have a wonderful week. Okay, thank you. So with that in mind, guys, I'm going to say thank you for joining me here on this live session. And let's all say it together. Let's all get out there and let's all create something. Bye for now.